Rosie taught me one thing early in my career. Always CC the boss on mistakes. Years later, when her name popped up on my screen again, I realized she'd just handed me the perfect weapon. If you've ever worked with someone who thrived on catching mistakes instead of fixing them, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and settle in. Because this story proves that sometimes the most satisfying revenge is simply following the rules someone else made. I met Rosie early in my career. The kind of early where you still believe workplaces are fair and effort is always noticed. Back then, I was eager, maybe a little naive. I double-checked my work, asked questions, stayed late when needed. Rosie had been there forever. Not because she was exceptional, not because she was ambitious, but because she had mastered the art of survival. She wasn't dumb, but she wasn't sharp either. She knew the job just well enough to avoid scrutiny and just poorly enough to never be trusted with responsibility. Promotions passed her by like trains she never planned to board. And Rosie was perfectly fine with that. See, Rosie didn't want responsibility. Responsibility meant accountability. What Rosie wanted was control. Her desk was always immaculate. Pens aligned. Monitor angled just right. She sat with the posture of someone waiting for others to fail. And when they did, even in the smallest way, Rosie lit up. A typo, a missing spreadsheet column. Even if there was no data to put there, a date formatted differently than she preferred. Every single time, without fail, an email went out. Not just to you, but CC to the supervisor. The subject lines were deceptively polite. Just a quick correction. Minor issue for visibility. FYI, please review. But the damage was never minor. I still remember the first time it happened to me. I'd been rushing to finish a report before lunch. Everything important was accurate. Numbers matched. Data was clean, but I spelled the client's name wrong. One letter. My inbox chimed. Rosie's email. Screenshot attached. Error circled in red. Explanation longer than the actual mistake. And there it was. The CC line. Our supervisor. My stomach dropped. That hot, sinking feeling. Like you've just been called out in front of a room you didn't know was watching. I fixed it immediately. Apologized. Moved on. Rosie didn't. She never followed up privately. Never said, hey, just a heads up. She wanted witnesses. Always. At first, I thought she was just thorough. Then I realized something darker. Rosie wasn't preventing mistakes. She was collecting them. She kept mental score. And every email was a tiny trophy. The supervisor tolerated it. Barely. Rosie means well. They'd say she's detail-oriented. But the rest of us? We walked on eggshells. People stopped experimenting. Stopped taking initiative. Because why try something new when one tiny misstep meant public documentation? Rosie didn't contribute much actual work, but she sure made herself visible. And after a while, I left that team. New role, new people, new energy. Rosie faded into the background of my career. Just another unpleasant memory. Or so I thought. Years passed. I grew, learned, took on more complex work. Manual processes, data-heavy tasks, real responsibility. Then one morning, I saw her name. Rosie, assigned temporarily to my current team. I blinked at the screen, reread it. Sure enough, low workload on her side. Extra hands needed on ours. So Rosie was coming back. I won't lie, my chest tightened. Not fear, not anger. Something colder. She was older now. Same title, same role. Career frozen in amber. Our work this time was brutal. Endless manual entry, names, dates, dollar amounts. The kind of work where perfection is a myth. Mistakes happen. Always. And normally, I'm forgiving. When I catch an error, I fix it. Quietly. Efficiently. No emails. No blame. Just forward motion. Because we're human. But when I saw Rosie's first mistake, a dollar amount off by a decimal. Not catastrophic. But wrong. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I felt it then. That memory. That lesson she drilled into all of us years ago. We always CC the boss on mistakes. I fix the error. Took a screenshot. Wrote a calm, professional email. Hi, Rosie. Just wanted to bring this to your attention. The amount was entered incorrectly. I fixed it on my end, but wanted you to be aware for future entries. Polite, neutral, helpful. Then I added the CC. Her supervisor. I hit send and leaned back in my chair. Minutes passed. Then an hour. No response. But the next day, another mistake. Misspelled name. Wrong date. Same process. Screenshot. Explanation. CC. Again. I wasn't rude. Never accusatory. I used her own language. Her own tone. She had trained me well. By the third email, I noticed something interesting. Rosie stopped making eye contact in meetings. She double-checked everything. Then triple-checked. Her shoulders tensed. Her emails got shorter. She knew. And that's when I realized this wasn't about punishment. This was about reflection. She was finally feeling what the rest of us had felt for years. Every CC wasn't just an email. It was a mirror. And Rosie didn't like what she saw. I didn't rush it. That was the key. I let time do the work. Every mistake documented. Every correction transparent. Every email calm, factual, undeniable. I never piled on. Never exaggerated. I let her own errors speak. And they spoke often. You could feel the shift in the office. Supervisors started noticing patterns. Noticing volume. Rosie's reputation, the one built on attention to detail, began to crack. She tried to defend herself once. Send me a message. Do you really need to CC my supervisor on these? I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Then I typed the only response that mattered. I thought that was standard practice. It's how you handled things before. No emojis. No sarcasm. Just truth. She never replied. After that, her mistakes slowed, but they didn't stop, because perfection was never her strength. Control was, and control was gone. The final moment came quietly. No confrontation. No explosion. Her supervisor thanked me for being thorough, for keeping records, for ensuring accuracy. Rosie was reassigned, away from data entry, back into obscurity. I felt calm. No gloating. No victory dance. Just balance restored. She'd spent years weaponizing visibility. All I did was use the same lens. And when I passed her desk one last time, she didn't look up. For the first time, Rosie had nothing to report. Revenge doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it's quiet, procedural, inevitable. Rosie taught me a rule she never expected to face herself. And in doing so, she proved something important. If you build your power on exposing others, one day you'll stand under that same spotlight. If this story hit close to home, tap that like button. Subscribe for more real-life justice stories just like this. And tell me in the comments, have you ever seen someone fall victim to their own rules? And if you found this helpful, join my Telegram channel and Discord for more amazing tips. And subscribe to my YouTube channel for more viral niches. You can start today.